Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Variable Barricade. What was I gonna say? Wow, not Variable Barricade. God, I said the right thing in the last part, right? If I didn't, just blame my broken brain. Blame my broken brain. Thanks, bird. The bird just gave me kisses. I appreciate it. Thank you. I give you kisses back, but you're over there. Don't eat my headset. Not nice. Anyway, we're back. With freaking Ichiya. I want to call him Yusuke. I don't know why. There's something seriously wrong with me. I didn't take this. You know what it is? Actually, you know what? It's because for some reason lately I've been thinking like the voice and everything. I'm like, oh yeah, it's kind of like the Yusuke voice in my head. You know what I mean? Like, there's some vibes to it, like from Persona 5, right? No, obviously, like just what you would if you were speaking his lines. Like, obviously not like his actual fucking voice, but. And then it's also doesn't help that now if I glance at him, I'm like, well, Yusuke does have blue hair kind of too. I'm supposed to be black, but it's like the blue tint. And then it's got the shirt. Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit to it. So I have a sticker of Yusuke up on my freaking wall. And I'm like, now I'm like glancing back and forth like, yeah, you know what? He's in the corner of my eye. Like, as I'm like, just monologuing over here. And like, even in the last part, like I kept seeing him, and I think as I was thinking Ichiya, like Yusuke was just registering in my brain. We are not okay. Anyway, let's just keep going and pretend everything is fine. Oh my god. Anyway. At least it's entertaining, right? So, yeah, here we are after that dinner. We left the restaurant and walked to the car. Neither of us spoke a word. Goodness, it was all such a shock, I still can't get my thoughts together. The compromise that Kazu proposed, where I'd marry him and take Ichi as my lover, was mind-boggling. It was so insulting that my vision had gone red with rage. And yet, now that I calmed down and thought about it, I could see how someone as logically minded as Kazu might arrive at such an idea. Now that I calmed down and thought about it, I could see the benefits. The world we live in doesn't have much room for lofty idealism. That I know all too well. Here, political marriages were still the norm, despite common people regarding them as old-fashioned. Yeah. As much as I wished it wasn't true, I'd heard about more than one or two unhappy political unions. That's like a majority of rich people. Still! I glanced over at Ichiyo, who walked beside me. Even though I understood it was a thing that happened, the notion that it could happen to me threw the situation into a whole new light. Imagine thinking so little of Ichiyo that I'd take him as a mere lover. I could never do that! But right now I don't know how I might convince Kazu to back down. I mean, to me right now, Ichiyo's... I blinked and suddenly realized I'd stopped walking. Ichiyo must have noticed as well, because he stopped too and turned to look back at me. I must have looked like I was at a complete loss. I saw him open his mouth to say something, then close it. Eventually, he took a steadying breath and walked one step closer to me. Spacey, I'm sorry. Earlier, I made it sound like I think you were my possession or something. I didn't mean that, but I am serious about you. Ichiya, I know in a corner of my mind that what you feel for me right now is still just sympathy and a desire to help, and not true romance. I'm not going to give up, though. Flinched. Ichiyo was right about how I felt. He smiled at me gently. I promise you, from now on I'm going to do my utmost to convince you to love me for who I am, and not because I want to throw it back into Kazuya's face, but because I really do love you. I want you to be happy, hopefully together with me. He's like, but if you choose one of the other chuckle fucks, still be better than Kazu, because at least you'd be happy. His eyes reflected the sincere honesty of the words he'd just spoken. He'd stated his case with perfect eloquence. I knew I had to choose my words carefully. I hadn't had time to sort through my messed up emotions. I said, I'll look forward to it. Do you think you have a chance? I feel like I'll... Before when she's like, I said blah, blah, blah. I had to choose my words carefully. I was like, I look forward to it. It's exactly what I was thinking. Do you think you have a chance? The thing about that is that sounds really awful. Like, you think you have a chance? But it's the phrasing of it. And if you think about it, you could actually say it and could mean, like, do you think you have a chance? And he'd be like, I absolutely have a chance. Like, it's your way of gauging, like, how confident he is in himself. You think you have a chance? Oh, hell yeah. I know I can make you like me, girl. Like, you know what I mean? And you're like, okay, good for you. Confidence. Okay. You know what I mean? Or you could actually be like, you think you have a chance? Whatever. You know what I mean? It really depends on the phrasing. But I feel like here, what they would try to do with it, and what I would hope they would do, is more like, try, like, her saying it to try to kind of poke him a little for him to be like, hell yeah, I do. I'll make you fall in love. You know what I mean? Just to kind of like, not to make him feel sorry for himself or sad, but to make him like, just to kind of like light that little fire under him. You know what I mean? Just give him that little confidence boost for him to go like, hell yeah. But I'll look forward to it. See, when I phrase it like that, I want it to be like, you think you have a chance? Yeah? And he's gonna be like, hell yeah, and you're like, okay, you know what I mean? It's like a fun little ribbing kind of thing. I feel like I look forward to it is, it just phrase alone, a hell of a lot less harsh, you know? But now, when I say, like, the way I think, do you have a chance, how I'd want to say that, I want that to be the right answer, because I want her to say it like that, and I want him to have that little moment. You know what I mean? Like, I think that'd be cute. And after saying it like that, then it's like, I'll look forward to it. It's just so straightforward, and, like, there's no emotion there. So, like, originally I was like, I'll look forward to it as the right answer, because, like, do you think you have a chance just sounds harsh, but the more I think through it, I want do you think you have a chance to be the right one, but again, only if it's said the way I want it to be said, not the, like, what, do you think you have a chance? Because, like, I don't know, buddy. You know what I mean? So, I'll look forward to it. Okay. So, they're not good. Again, my interpretation of it's not right, but, and I think that my interpretation of it definitely, like, was not going to be right either, but I just wanted it to be. I don't know. Well, I'll look forward to it. I'll do what I can to see if I can change the way I regard you, too. Let a little stab of guilt prick up my heart. I wish I could have put that lesson formally, but I couldn't. But, despite my harsh wording, Ichiya still gave me a bright smile and nodded happily. He's right. I really can't say right now that I like him in that way. Not from the bottom of my heart. Not yet. But of everyone, he's the closest. That, at least, I know for certain. Spacey, thank you. You have no idea how much I appreciate this. Okay, let's get on track. Just you watch. Tomorrow I'm going to be a whole new me. Ichiya pumped his fist in the air once with enthusiasm. Just imagine him doing it. It was like a nerd. There was no longer a trace of the fearful shadow that used to cross his face at the thought of confronting Kazu, and you're like, well, that's slightly disappointing. Does that mean you're never going to cry again? Because I like it when you cry. You know that, right? It's okay. I'm going to get Kasuga to annoy the fuck out of you. Like, Kasuga's going to needle him, and, like, you're not good enough, and, like, blah, blah, blah. And then Ichiya will cry, and they'll be like, oh, Ichiya's crying. Thanks, Kasuga. And then I'm going to go make out with Kasuga in the hall for a hot second, and then I'll come back and it's fine. I got it all planned out. It's okay. I'll have to pay even closer attention now. Oh, yeah, I mean, that CG's... Okay, it's not as good as Ichiya bawling his eyes out, but it's still nice. I had to watch to see him for who he was. A man who'd been enraged, not because of the insult lobbed at him, but because my dream had been threatened. Like, that's sweet of him, though. You're like, that should have won him points. You should have been like, that kind of stabbed in my heart a little bit, in a good way. I really do have faith in you. She's like, I'm not in love with you yet, but that was close. Good job. I mean, the thing is like, I'm not in love with him yet, but then we go to all these little things, and then this is, like, the fucking end. So, like, we're not in love with him yet, we're gonna, how, like, usually we're in love with the person by then, or they don't know that they're in love, I don't know, they're, like, whatever. Somehow not right. Yeah, somehow this doesn't feel right. Having declared war on Kazuya, Ichiya starts pouring his all into courting me. Why do I feel so helpless? Courting. I feel like chest pain. It's on the right side, it's fine. Literally just like working like a weird muscle, like my boob is too heavy. Anyway. In my admittedly biased opinion, the confrontation between Kazu and Ichiya had settled in a draw, at least for now. Nothing material had changed, but if it had alleviated some of the inferiority Ichiya felt around his brother, then I'd call that a win. The battle for my hand looked like it was winding down to a one-on-one confrontation between the twins. Could I fall in love with Ichiya? Could I declare that I cared for him with all my pride and confidence? Everything hinged on that. I get that. Really, I do. But... Spacey, I love you. I sighed at what had rapidly become a regular scenario in the last few days. So I've heard. What do you love specifically, though? What parts? Well, first, I love how beautifully dignified you are, and I love how the strength of your personality reflects the strength of your heart. But then every once in a while, you'll let me catch a glimpse of your soft, romantic side, and it's just so adorable. Oh, I know what that's about. It's that whole attraction thing that happens when a person looks and personality are different. Smoogie told me about it. Oh God, Smoogie should not be teaching her dog tricks. Stop it, Smoogie. Stop it, bad girl. Yes, that's exactly it. A good one, Nayuta. Well, wonders ever cease. You actually do know how to flirt with a girl like a normal human being. Keep it up, bro. You may actually get somewhere in the end. The other three regularly wandered by to chime in with advice and encouragement, and it quickly became a sideshow that paired with the main act. Oh, why don't you try telling her about your most charming traits next? Girls do love to dream about the sort of happiness they might receive from the man they like. Oh, good point. I'll definitely do that, in as much concrete detail as possible. Ichiya nodded enthusiastically and produced a tablet from... somewhere. I just love how the game's like, produced a tablet from... somewhere. Because we know, like, anime logic, right? And Otome games are kind of like, sort of like... they fall into the anime-esque thing, right? Where it's just like, tablet, and you're like, what the fuck was that? You know, game logic. It's any kind of game logic. It's anime, it's games, whatever. The tablet just magically fucking appears. Like, you know, Sims inventories, anytime a game inventories, you're like, I'm not carrying a backpack around. I'm literally just whipping this fucking hoe out of nowhere. Like, freaking, I'm playing Disney Dream Light Valley a lot. I don't know if I mentioned that here, whatever. I just whipped this fucking shovel and this pickaxe and this water out of nowhere. And this watering can never runs out of water, bitch, so you know that's heavy. And, like, I don't know where it came from. It was just up my butt, I guess. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? I got magic fucking Mary Poppins pockets. It's Disney logic, so Mary Poppins pockets actually kind of fucking works. Kind of like some of those chests are like Mary Poppins chests, you know? But, like, yeah, it's fucking Mary Poppins logic in fucking games. That just, I have an unlimited inventory, just magically decide, tablet, I choose you! I didn't even need to toss my Pokeball. Anyway. He turned to me as he started tapping. And from that we can calculate my love for you will increase the amount of will increase the amount of happiness? Okay. And from that we can calculate my love for you will increase the amount of happiness in your daily life by nearly 200%. Throw in my perfect management of your daily nutritional needs, and you can expect your body to stay healthy and grow to its fullest potential. Think it might do something for a bus size too? I knew that was coming when he said full potential, and I was like, wait for it, Tyga's here. Yes? Definitely yes. Excuse me? You can keep that unnecessary opinion to yourself, thank you! Then there's, I'll make sure you have all the candied chestnuts you can eat at any hour of the day. Well, even Kazuya can't promise you infinite candied chestnuts. What happens if there's a chestnut shortage? Or, like, chestnuts become extinct? My whole world has just been shattered. I'm going to go jump off a building! Oh no, Ichiya, come back! Oh, if it was me, I'd want something salty to go along with him if possible. And that's definitely doable. I've already scheduled lessons with Sumiko on how to make traditional pickled daikon radish. Since when is he even that friendly with Sumiko? And Ichi didn't stop there. He kept at it for what seemed like hours. And I sat and listened to him, not quite sure how I felt. You gotta love it a little bit. It's giving me Kent from Amnesia flashbacks. Like, here's some math. Except for Ichi's over there. This is how much I love you. And you're like, it's still weird. Well, Spacey, do you understand now just how much I love you? I'm not sure how to answer that. I mean, halfway through, you turn this into a business presentation. First Kazu, now him. What is it with the two of them resorting to presentations when they're trying to express themselves? Spreadsheets, man. Spreadsheets are fun. Shut up. I had to do a spreadsheet at work. Like, I was helping someone else with one. Like, spreadsheet for new stuff. And, like, somebody suggested we do the whole thing instead of just the certain tabs that we needed. For, like, trying to make this as easy to understand as possible. There's, like, 30 tabs on this thing, right? And, like, well, we're going to reuse a lot of the information from something else, but we just need a couple new things added. So someone's like, well, you might as well just fill out the whole thing, just put the existing information in those other tabs. And I was like, all right, I'll do that. So it alleviates it on our project owner, right? Like, okay, so you don't have to do all that shit because I can go in to our database tables and I can pull that information out. And I'm like, and I like poking around in them. I don't mind actually poking around in these tables because like, and I'm like, and I don't, and I'm like all day, I'm like, and I, volunteer, I'll do that. I'm like, and actually, I like spreadsheets. And the woman's like, hello, my name is Spacey, and I'm like, seriously, it's like, I like spreadsheets, I'm not gonna lie, I actually that was a project I was working on years ago, and it was just fucking goddamn spreadsheets everywhere, and people are like, oh my god, it must drive you crazy. I'm like, I actually like this, putting the data in the spreadsheets and database, and I like it. I don't know, you might look at my house and be like, you're not organized. I am, though. I know where everything is, and if I move shit, then it gets confused, and I don't like it. Like, I don't know where anything is right now because I moved. And, like, I haven't put things. But, like, once things go in a place, it's like, I know where that is. I put it over here. It's here. It's the, I can still, unfortunately, because I'm moving, like, I remember where it is in my apartment. And that doesn't help because I've lived here for months. So, what has it been? I moved here in, like, March, okay? So, it's been almost a year, and I'm like, look, it's gonna take me a while. And, like, my craft stuff, I never figured out. I knew where it was in my old apartment. And not the last apartment that I lived in after 6 fucking years. Because I didn't put it in an organized spot. It was like, okay, it's just wherever. And, like, I had it in organized spots, logically, like, okay, this is where this should go, and then this should go here. And it's like, if I logic out organizational spots, I know where shit is. But if I just put it someplace, it's like, I don't know where it is! And, like, right now I still have shit in boxes. Like, my room's got piles of fucking clothes in boxes and shit because it's like, I need my dressers, which, actually, by the time we get to this part, might be showing up. Because, there's going to be 2 weeks where I can't record because my furniture's getting here. So, anyway. But, like, I still haven't put all my craft stuff away and figured out those rooms. So, it's like, it's going to take me a while. Because, like, I could sit there and organize the fuck out of stuff, which is why I never cleaned my room when I was a child, and no one will listen to me. Like, believe me. It's like, no, because it's like, I would just put things places, right? But then it's like, oh, go through your desk drawers, and then I literally would go through every little thing, and then I wanted to find a place for every little thing, and then once I started, it's like, okay, now I need to, it's like, it spirals out of control, so I'm like, it's easier if I just don't. Like, I still have things in boxes around my house, and I'm like, they'll be like that for 5 years. Because until I have a way to, or like, if I'm like, oh, okay, this is, oh wait, I need to get a bin and I need a box, I need to organize, and then I gotta put this in here, and then it's like, it just spirals out of control with organizing. It spirals out of control. Okay? With organizing. Like, so sometimes I'm just like, it's better that I don't start because I might die, because I won't stop. So like, organizing data on spreadsheets and doing things, I enjoy doing that. I went in one thing and I was like, to sort the information in this table in the database because you can't sort it in there. Don't ask. Like, I can't sort it in here. It's just added the way it was added. So now I have to go and figure out where and I'm like, nope, copied and pasted all that data into a spreadsheet one day just so I could do it and be like, now I can put it in order. Whatever order I want. I did that on my own. I took the extra time because I like putting shit in spreadsheets. Okay, I don't know. Look, all right. This was like a therapy session. I just needed to get that off my chest. I like spreadsheets and data, and I like organizing stuff, okay? Might not seem like it, because I do realize that when I try to go through and organize stuff, it's going to be like a fucking nightmare, okay? Because it'll be like, I need to organize this, but then I'm going to put this here, and then I got to do this, and this goes over here, and then it just, and the next thing you know, everything's in shambles because I'm trying to organize everything at once because I can't just do one thing at a time. Like organizational ADHD. I don't know. Anyway, blood will always tell. Let's move on. That proverb instantly came to mind. But like, I'm here for the presentations and the spreadsheets. Like, yeah. Put it in a spreadsheet, Ichiya. Yes, Ichiya isn't being as weirdly dense about all this as he was before. And he certainly isn't the overly exhausting flirt he once was. I can tell that he's trying to see me for myself, and is trying to court me accordingly, but it doesn't feel right. The words popped out of my mouth before I realized it. I hurriedly snapped my jaw closed, but I couldn't take back what had already been said. Ichiya visibly deflated by at least a few inches, his shoulders slumped and his chin sank. Ugh, that was a bit harsh, babe. I think he was doing pretty well, though. Especially the part about getting good food whenever you want. That she'll listen to you as an improvement over previous weeks. But don't let this setback get you down, Ichiya. Chin up. Keep at it. Okay, so Shion's definitely like the freaking... He's the mom. Shion's absolutely the fucking like trophy mom. Because he's like beautiful and was a model and everything. And then it's like, chin up, dear. It'll be fine. I'm gonna go get a banana. What is that, like $10, $20? Yeah, you're right. This isn't enough to make me give up. Just you wait, Spacey. I'll be back. Ugh. Well, he's doing this for my sake. I should say something to him at least. I, can tell you're enthusiastic. Good luck? I feel like good luck is almost like... Okay, first of all, one, it's awkward, which is great. I like it for that. Like, good luck! Oh. It's kind of like when people are like, thanks, enjoy your meal, and you're like, you too! And you're like, oh, wait, that was stupid. Happy birthday, thanks, you too! No. Because, you're used to, okay, blah, 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 have a good night, yeah, you too! But when people are like, enjoy your food, yeah, you too! Oh, fuck. So, good luck! Oh, that was not the right thing to say. You know what I mean? It's awkward, but it's kind of cute. But on the other hand, it's, good luck? Like, you need it, I guess? You know what I mean? There's almost something slightly, like, cruel about it. And then, I can tell you're enthusiastic! Also, it's kind of like an awkward thing to say, like, you're enthusiastic? I don't know what to say. Well, I'm awkwardly on the spot. So either one is good for the awkward. I can tell you're enthusiastic is like, well, I can tell you're enthusiastic. Everything about it sucks, but good for you. Like, good for you. Like, either one is slightly insulting, but also slightly awkward. So, I don't know. They're both pretty good, I guess. Good luck? You know what? Okay, fair. Because you'd be like, good luck, and Ichi's like, yes, I don't need it, though. I've got a plan. And you're like, okay. Good luck? I knew my smile had to look watery. She unnoticed, of course, and looked at me curiously. Spacey, it seems fairly obvious to me that Ichi is already putting a lot of effort into this. No, Shion, wait. I'm sure what Spacey meant by that was that she knows I can do even better than I already have. That has to be it. She has high expectations for me, and I'm gonna meet them. Not actually, I just... Oh dear, now you've made it worse. Seeing how excited Ichi had become, I had to resist the urge to drop my head into my hands. Ugh, great. Now what am I supposed to do? Suck it up, girl. Whoops, sorry, I got a little carried away. Anyway, I had better go start getting lunch ready. I'm making a Japanese dish I just learned from Sumiko. Just you wait. I'm gonna make sure it's amazing. Thanks? Ichigo winked at me, more naturally than usual, but still, and wandered toward the kitchen, humming a cheery tune. I kind of love this, like, peppy, frickin' nerdy frickin' Ichigo. Like, here's the presentations I made on how much I love you, and he's, like, all jovial and, like, and you're like, oh god! Again, this is, like, one of the other numbers on the fucking 20-sided die that is fucking Ichigo, and I just goddamn love it. The man's got, like, 30 personalities. 20. He's got 20 personalities. I love it! It's great! You never know what the fuck is gonna come up. It's good that he's being optimistic about this, I suppose. Yes, that's good. I'm sure. Ever since we'd had our confrontation with Kazu, the atmosphere at home had shifted. If I'd had to describe it, it was almost like a grand competition had started. There was the athlete, his cheerleaders, and the judge. Me. Mayut is genuinely earnest about it, but Shion and Definitely Tiger are just going along to mess with us, I'm sure. What was that, babe? Nothing. Well, okay, I knew they both understood that our futures were riding on this, so I suppose they were being entirely frivolous about it. They did honestly support us, but I suspect that it wasn't easy for them to be entirely open about it. They had appearances to maintain and all that, I guess. Ugh. All of a sudden I'm tired. My life, permanently. I knew the Ichigo Struts His Stuff show, guest starring his famous three-man cheering squad, would come back from commercial as soon as lunch started. Ichigo Struts His Stuff show, guest starring his famous three-man cheering squad. I'm sorry, should I read that in tour guide Spacey voice and not like whatever the fuck that was? That was like announcer voice. Anyway. I made sure that no one was looking before I let an exhausted sigh slip out. Oh. I'm sorry. I'm past and the sun slipped behind the horizon. And I finally had enough of Ichigo's Olympic wooing session. Making up the first excuse that came to mind, I went up to my rooms. I have to pretend I have homework. I have to wash my hair. I sank down on my couch and exhaled with exhaustion and self-loathing. Why in the world was Ichigo trying so hard in the first place? Well, for me, of course. He was trying to keep me from being stuck in a political marriage to Kazu, doing his best to build a relationship between us that was too strong for anyone to deny. Hold on. He was working so hard for my sake, and yet here I was, running away from him by claiming to be tired. What did I think I was? My cat says I'm sorry. I just, I was just trying to see, my mom just texted that she got someplace, where, well, obviously she was going someplace, and we know that she was, okay. My mom just texted she got to the place she was going. I'm trying to look through, like, a little Bitmoji that, like, just to send. Just to reply back. So, sorry. Look, when my mother texts, you respond back. I'm just saying, so she knows that we're not, like, especially with me, because then my mom will text me and be like, oh my god, something's wrong, you didn't text back instantly. It's like, I was playing a game. So, like, I'm sorry. But until my brain disorder is fucking figured out, like, I sometimes have to be on the ball with replying back to my mom, otherwise she's gonna get fucking worried and be like, you didn't text back to the group text? Like, I never do, sometimes. There are times where I just ignore you guys for, like, hours, but, like, now she's worried. I don't need to make my freaking mother worry, okay? She's gonna be worried anyway, so I might as well try to ease that as much as possible, so. That's why you have to suffer with me. Hold it! Got a text. Hold it, we gotta do this. I mean, look. It's gonna become a point where I don't have an excuse, and I'm just like, I'm just doing it, I'm just being an asshole right now, but whatever. Oh, good god. Anyway. Oh, I have, like, fucking cramp in my back right now. Yeah. I do realize he's making a lot of effort for my sake, and that does make me happy. So what's stopping me from actually choosing him already? Something didn't feel right. Yes, that was admittedly a frank opinion, but it was how I felt about Ichi at the moment. Something doesn't feel right is literally how I feel today. Like I haven't had, like, any, like, issues, but, like, it's there. every once in a while I'm like, I don't like this feeling. Like, I just don't feel right. Something feels off. And that's all I can say. You know what I mean? And you're like, no, this ain't right. I've had that feeling like that for like several hours. It's been kind of annoying. And now my fucking back hurts. Anyway. That was just how I was sitting before, and now I'm like, ooh, okay. Anyway. But if someone asked me how I wanted him to court me, I'm sure I wouldn't be able to answer. I just had the vague feeling that the way he was approaching the whole idea was somehow off. It was all I could say. How was I supposed to react? What was I supposed to do to reciprocate? I hadn't the first clue. That said, I can't exactly afford to make a half-hearted decision here. Just one last thing, Spacey. To reiterate, I wouldn't pick Ichi out of pity or compromise if I were you. Only unhappiness lies that way. What Kazu said was in the back of my mind, yes. More than that, I didn't want to make a spur-of-the-moment decision on a matter as big as my life partner. Also, Ichi was making an earnest attempt to court me. I wanted to respect his effort with a serious effort of my own. Most of all, though, I wanted to do something to stick it to Kazu. I wanted to show everyone that Ichi had value, too. Enough value to make it clear why I'd rejected Kazu and all the material profit he could bring to the Tojo family. So why can't I just make the choice? Why can't I take Ichi's hand? What words did I want to hear from him if I love you wasn't accomplishing what I needed? Another sigh. I was doing a lot of that lately. You know what we're not doing a lot of in the last two parts? Fucking Kasuga. And sighing wasn't solving the problem, unfortunately. Where the fuck has Kasuga been? All I'm saying, you know what? That's what's wrong. Like, something's not right. Somehow not right. You know what's somehow not right? Kasuga's fucking been missing. I've known. But, like, it's in the back of my mind, the fucking Kasuga whore that I locked in the back, while I'm trying to play this game. Is back there like, he's not here, where is he? And I could finally hear her through the fucking giant, thick-ass wood door I built. Something's sitting funny. Confused about why Ichi's courting isn't resonating with me, I ask Samugi and Arimura for insight. Play this event. I guess! No, I mean, obviously. Obviously. Alright. What? Your lover? Whoa, seriously? That sure took a turn. I could say that again. It had been a while since the three of us had gotten together, and once again I had shocking news to relay. Wish I had more normal things to tell them. The old shenanigans at the house seemed normal now. That's how weird everything had become. Disgusting! Absolutely disgusting! That gentleman doesn't have a speck of regard for your feelings, Spacey! I knew it! I would have been more upset, but Samugi spending her energy to get incensed for my sake left me weirdly calm. Yeah, that lover bit was totally uncalled for, but at least you can say progress has been made, right? I mean, Ichigo finally got his head out of his butt and now he's serious about you. Getting that steam doll for you is worth some brownie points, right? That is a good point, yes. I have to revise my opinion on Mr. Mitsumori. When he finally decides to do something, he really does it. Well, I suppose you could put it that way. I didn't want to say it out loud, but I did have to admit that Samugi was right. Still, having him fling himself at me day in and day out is exhausting. Not sure how much longer I can take it. Hey, it's way preferable to the way he was before, right? No, I actually kind of like it when he cries. Okay, like, not all the time. Like, okay, but if that side of the die comes up again, I'm not going to complain. Just saying. Aggie's poured his entire heart out to you. Why don't you just say yes and be done with it? That's a very good point. After all, seeing him break down into a vulnerable mess did awaken something deep inside you, Spacey. It actually did. I'm not going to lie. She ain't wrong. Take that into account along with what happened the other day. It's obvious that he has to be standing head and shoulders above the other three. Right? Exactly. She's not wrong. It awoke something inside me watching him cry and break down. Like, oh god, I love this. And then, like, what happened the other, him getting all angry at Kazu for us. It was like, that's also really fucking hot. So, like, I'm just saying. She's not wrong. Your first point isn't based anywhere near reality. Take it back! Absolutely true. You don't have to take it back, Samugi. Though I poked at Samugi for her unnecessary comment, I did have to agree that she'd hit on the problem. I'd used a Kazu update as the excuse to have this little meeting, but what I'd really wanted to talk to them about was... She does feel closer to me than the others. Really, I mean that emotionally, too. It's just, there's something that feels missing. Some final thing to push it over the edge. That was the biggest obstacle I was struggling with at the moment. Ugh, you are way too fussy, you know that? Just say okay already. All this marriage drama will be over and done with. Spacey's searching for true love, thank you very much! Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so if that true love schlock is what you want, how about we go over stuff from the beginning and figure out what's missing? So, question 1. Do you like Ichiya's looks? He's not ugly. Question 2. What do you think of his voice? I don't hate it. What do you think of his voice? I mean, it's me doing it, so, like, I don't hate it, I guess. Like, I guess that's right. It's, like, probably way better, the actual voice acting. I'm just saying, so. Question 3. What about his personality? Actually, hold on a hot second. Boop, 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 boop. This is, Wait. Isn't Ichiya... Yeah, Ichiya's Kosuke Toriumi. So, we don't hate his voice. We know this. He's been in everything else, so, I mean... Also, hi, he was Saito and fucking Hakawuki, and one of my favorites, so of course we love him. Right? Like... Actually in a lot of the games that we've played, so seriously, I mean, at this point. Oh, God, I'm sorry, I'm actually just, like, looking through some of these, it's pretty funny. Anyway, I'm pretty sure it was him, but I wasn't 100%. It was like, anyway, so yeah, I mean, yeah, we do, so we've heard his voice like a million times in every fucking game we've played, basically. Like, he's in a lot of them, so I feel like it's been a while. I feel like it's been a little while since he's been in a game, right? Well, yeah, because what was the last one we may have played? Period Q was a long time ago. Psychedelic with a Black Butterfly. Color X Malice was a long time ago. Nightshade. I mean, yeah, I feel like, well, I mean, based on just those, and I can't think of anything. It's been a hot minute since he's been in a game we played, but he used to be around a lot. So I'm just saying. Anyway. Question 3. What about his personality? Oh, God, it's cheesy and ridiculous. He cries a lot, and then he gets angry. He's like a 20-sided die. I'm here for it. 100%. When he talks with me like a normal person, he isn't all that bad, I suppose. Question 4! When he threw down with Kazuya over your hand in marriage, what did you think? I think he looked cool. So you flat out admit it, huh? Maybe, but I'd say just about any woman's heart would flutter if a man did that for them in that situation. Yeah, my heart fluttered when he cried a lot, though, too. But unfortunately, I don't believe that qualifies as definitive proof that she feels true love for Mr. Mitsumori. And all her other answers were non-committal. Yeah, this is hopeless. I felt my shoulders slump. The other two already seemed ready to throw in the towel. Yeah. Because they're sick of your bullshit. The problem is you. You won't do... You're like, I mean, I guess. No, what do you actually think? Is he good looking? Yes. There's a difference between, like, okay, yes. Traditionally, he would be described as good looking. I recognize that. But I don't feel anything toward it. That's different. You know what I mean? Like, there are people, and you know this right now. What do you think of their looks? Well, traditionally, they are good looking. I can understand if someone was like, oh my god, he's so hot. Yeah, okay, I get it. I personally don't find them attractive. Okay? You can recognize someone is good in the good-looking bubble. Like, they definitely fit into that. I personally am not attracted to it or don't, like, it's one of those things, like, that's a nice piece of art. Good for you. Okay, you want to buy it and hang it on your wall? Oh, good for you. I never would. Okay? And then there's things you're like, I will hang that all over my walls. You know what I mean? Like, just because someone is good looking doesn't mean you think they're good looking. You know what I mean? There's a logic. Good looking. Yes. In the scheme of attractive people, that is an attractive person. So if somebody said that they thought that person's attractive, I wouldn't go, what the fuck are you on about? And then there's other people who you were like, somebody is like, They're so hot, and you're like, what the actual fuck? No. No, they're an ogre. It's Shrek, guys. Stop it. Shrek is not sexy. All right? You know, so many people. It's like a fucking running joke. Oh, Shrek is sick. No. No, I don't get it. I don't get that, okay? You know, there's other characters where people would be like that, and you're like, I mean, okay, sure. I don't feel it, but I get it. Okay, I sure. I don't think you're strange for it. Same thing with real people. And then there's the people that you're like, they are attractive, and I am attracted to them. I find them visually appealing. Okay? I guess he's not ugly. No, girl. Do you find him visually appealing? Yes. Okay, good. That's it. You don't have to be like, oh god, I want to dry hump his leg. I mean, it doesn't have to be that way. You know what I mean? But there is a difference between, I guess, I understand why other people find him attractive, but it doesn't do anything for me to like, yeah, no, I enjoy looking. Okay. Doesn't have to do anything from the neck down. You could just enjoy looking. My brain and my eyes enjoy this. Okay? There's stages. But anyway. But I really do want to like Ichiya in that way, if I could. Yeah, see, it's just, you got barriers. This is exactly it. Ichiya, get that axe. It's just, if I tried to bluff my way through this with some awkward half-truths, Grandfather and Kazu would see through me in an instant. Not only that, it'd be incredibly disrespectful of Ichiya. Disrespectful to Ichiya and all the efforts he's made for me. Well, yeah. For a relationship pro like Arimura, my indecisiveness had to grate like nails on a blackboard. I knew I was driving her crazy. But as it stands, if someone asked me what I like about Ichiya, I wouldn't be able to give an honest answer. He's so rude to him. I don't even want to think about how it might make him cry. Oh, yeah, I do. I slumped, my eyes sinking to the floor. After a moment, Samuki hesitantly spoke up. Spacey, what in the world is it about Mr. What in the world is it about Mr. Mitsumori? It doesn't sit right with you. What do you mean, doesn't sit right with me? Well, to be honest, from where Arimura and I sit, you and Mr. Mitsumori already seem like you're thoroughly in love with each other. Yep, the two of you are like this sweet, awkward couple trying to figure out this whole dating thing for the first time. Excuse me? I'll quit blushing. Kano, keep going. Right. Spacey, the two of you seem for the world like a couple, yet you say something feels off and you can't quite fully accept Mr. Mitsumori yet. But simply, why not try to discover what it is that's so off to you? It sounds to me like if you find a way to resolve that, you'll be able to love him. Yeah, it's just a you. It's the wall. Looking at it that way, yeah, you've got a good point. I surprised myself with how quickly I agreed with Samugi's suggestion. His desire to show up his brother more or less cleared up when he confronted him, right? Indeed, I can't see him pursuing any other lady now besides you either. And he's overcome his habit of flirting like a bad romance manga character too, which is unfortunate because I kind of enjoyed that a little bit. If anything, could it be because he's unemployed? Oh, yes, that must be it. If Mr. Mitsumori can simply find a steady, gainful employment as soon as possible, then... Whoa, slow down. That isn't... Well, okay, it is a problem, but that part isn't affecting my feelings. From what Ichi had told me, he did once have a good job. The reason he wasn't employed anymore was because of understandable extenuating circumstances. If we could just resolve the current issue, I was reasonably sure that he'd go quickly back to being a productive member of society. Cooking for you and taking care of you is productive. I'm just saying. So his unemployment was no longer a big issue for me. Is it possible that he's simply barraging you with too much flirting, that you haven't had the emotional space you need to sort out your feelings? Oh, yeah, that's definitely possible. I wouldn't be surprised if how serious he is about marriage is unconsciously freaking you out a bit, too. And do you think if he could hold off for a time, I'd finally be able to find my answer? Don't ask me. It's not like we can take responsibility for this if we're wrong, you know? You wait around for Ichiya only to have Kazuya come up, slip a ring on you and say game over. Well, the joke's on you and nobody's laughing, right? She's right. From the sound of it, Mr. Shinzaki will use every trick at his disposal to cement your engagement without bothering to ask your approval. You do get that, right? Of course I do. That's exactly why I was panicking. I had to fall in love with Ichi as soon as I could. I had to choose him. I had to accept his proposal. Those thoughts churned through my panicked mind, but I just couldn't seem to take that decisive step, and then she blacks out because it's stress. And that made me panic further. It was a vicious cycle. It was a vicious circle. Okay, well. Something that doesn't sit right with me. If I can figure that out, will that solve everything? The way you're stressing yourself out is like, oh, I need to fall in love with him fast, and then it's like, that's the problem right there. You know what I mean? You don't have time, and you need time. In Samugi and Arimura's eyes, two of us were already a couple. In other words, to them I was already in love with Ichiya, apparently. The problem was I couldn't see it myself. What do I have to do? Asking my friends' advice had made some possible objectives clear, but there was still no obvious answer. I still had to discover that for myself. Hi. Talking to the bird, not you. Yes, great. Kazu returns. I bump into Kazuya in town, and somehow I wind up having another get-together with Kazu? He's gonna be dressing that stupid fucking hat, isn't he? After school, he's gonna be in casual mode, and it's like, I don't like him in casual mode. There you are! Oh god, where have you been? The thing that's been off and funny and wrong has been you missing, precious. Oh, I love you so much. Oh, you sexy son of a bitch. You really think they'd let a butler get away with that hair? I'm just saying I love it. It's amazing, and it's great, and it's sexy and rumpled and everything, but there is no way they'd let you get away with that hair. I'm just saying. But I'm here for it. I would let you do whatever you want. To your hair, to me. Whatever. Look! I've missed Kasuga, okay? When we stop playing this game, I'm gonna miss Kasuga. I need Kasuga in my fucking life. I'm gonna have to, like, fucking print out pictures and post them everywhere, because not like you can get, like, actual Kasuga shit, because he's not a main character, so. A giant fucking... You know what I want? I get a giant cardboard cutout of fucking Kasuga and just put it in my house. People would come in and be like, what the actual fuck? And you'd be like, listen, there's a pirate in the closet, too. Like a long time ago, someone I used to be friends with got me a giant cardboard cutout of fucking Jack Sparrow. And we took him to parties. I took him to, like, my 30th birthday party. Well, there you go, I'm over 30. It's been a long time. But anyway. Like, I took him, and he fit in my trunk. Folded up, put him in my trunk, and took him, and, like, he was always around. I still have him. He's in the fucking closet. He made the move! The fucking thing for forever. And he's just, like, unfortunately, like, right now, he's just in a storage closet. He hasn't gotten put out, so. But, you know, I would put Kasuga out. Poor fucking Johnny Depp would be stuck in a fucking closet, and Kasuga would be, like, fucking front and center. Hell yeah, he's front and center. It's Kasuga. Who am I kidding? He'd be in my bedroom. There's no room in this loft. Actually, you know what? If I had one, you know, maybe I could just get a half one. Like, a short one that you could just sit behind the chair or something. I can, like, hide. So, like... Actually, that's perfect. You could, like, hide behind the chair. I'd have to move some stuff over in that corner and then be like, that's my butler. It'd be better if I could have, like, a tray or something. I can put, like, some things on it. It looks like he's holding a tray with some of my, like, anime merch on it. It'd be... Look, I got ideas! Have we played any of this game at all in this part? Look, Kasuga just... I love Kasuga, okay? Anyway.
Miss Spacey, we've arrived, but are you certain you'd like to go alone? If I recall, I only just recently explained how dangerous it was for you to be unaccompanied.
I remember, but I really need some time by myself to collect my thoughts and think. I don't want to go anywhere without you, Kasuga. What is she saying? Don't let her do it. I'll go right to the cafe. I'll be fine. On the off chance something does happen, I'll call you right away. No, she won't. She's lying.
Understood, miss. I will remain nearby and await your return then.
Kasuga, don't let her go! He's screaming in the back of her mind. Ugh. Kasuga is as overprotective as always. Yes, because he loves us! Not that I could say that out loud, considering I had already gotten in trouble once by going off on my own. But I couldn't catch Samugi or Arimura, and if I go home, I'll have to deal with Ichiya and his flirting. I need time to brace myself and think first. I walked to the cafe, briskly, just in case I got unlucky and someone did accost me. But I entered and nearly walked right into the last person I expected to see. Who? I mean, seriously. He's wearing that fucking hat, or that goddamn jumpsuit. Yeah, he's in casual mode. I'm just sorry, but, like, casual mode Kazu, I'm not here for it. I mean, the jumpsuit, I guess, is like, whatever, it's fine. Like, I don't care. It's the hair. There's something about your casual hair I'm not here for. Sure really does say bro. Seriously, doesn't it look like it? Anyway. Yeah. Whoa. And turning around and leaving the minute you see a fellow is kind of rude, wouldn't you say? Snared, I sighed and turned around. I walked back into the cafe. Whose fault is it that I adopted this rude attitude, Oh, my fault, of course. But since we've bumped into each other, why not join me for a cup of coffee? Yeah, no, I'd rather die. I'd rather jump into traffic. And consider this me asking you on a date, so refusing isn't really an option here. I'm sure the sour expression on my face must have resembled the look I pulled whenever I was informed my grandfather demanded an audience with me. Maybe I should have let Kasuga come along. At Kazu's urging, I reluctantly lowered myself into the seat across from him. Text Kasuga, help. Cafe. At cafe. Help. With my desire to browse the menu now gone, I ordered the daily special. When it arrived, I quickly grabbed it and took a sip. The sooner I could finish my drink, the sooner I'd have an excuse to leave. That was the foremost thought on my mind. She was like, what do you have that's iced? Yeah, I'll take that. I got brain freeze. I think I'm going to die, but I need to go. It's been great. And then runs. He's supposed to be an extremely busy person. How does he have time to stop at a cafe for coffee? I continued to drink my coffee in sullen silence. Kazu watched me and grimaced. You're angry with me. Were you really that upset with the proposal I made the other day? You think there are people who wouldn't refuse it? I'm sure I could find quite a few, actually. Why do you think mistresses and secret lovers are so commonplace? As an individual, I desperately wanted to argue that point with him, but as the Tojo family heir, his proposal suddenly became much harder to refute. I didn't like to admit it, but I knew all too well how many people would see it as perfectly viable. I mean, I'm just saying, it's not terrible, as long as you don't ever do casual Kazu. I mean, it's not terrible, okay? You know, it's not terrible when you give me the sexy eyes, but, like, I still like the slick-back, bitchy, fucking, like, angry businessman look that you got going on more than this. I don't know. Again, not horrible. It's not as good as the other one, though. Just saying. Kazu must have read something from my expression as I sat there in silence, because a sly smile suddenly spread across his lips. I get the impression that Ichiya's determination still hasn't really clicked with you. In fact, I guess it's actually starting to bother you. I nearly dropped the cup of hot coffee I was holding. Ha! It's convenient how easy you are to read. Let me guess, his energy and enthusiasm are starting to turn you off. How do you... We're twins. I'm not ignorant about his nature. Although I have to say, it's a relief to know you took my warning to heart. You're giving this actual thought instead of just picking him out of pity. Oh, come on. Do you really have to give me that look? Not doing anything to obstruct his courtship, right? Not yet, at least. In fact, I'd prefer to see him go all out. When we're married, you can't say he never had a fair shot. You assume that it's a given I'll refuse him. Oh, that's only if you choose me, of course. Though... Kazu paused and looked up at the ceiling and thought. Yes, it'd be a bit anticlimactic if this little contest of ours was wrapped up so quickly. Hey, if you want, I'll gladly offer you some advice about Ichiya. Excuse me? What in the world is he thinking? He has to be up to something, I know it. Could he be offering advice as a way of mining information of how things were going between the two of us? If he was, I'd have to be on my toes. I didn't want to give him anything he could use against me. Alright, let's first say that, in theory, you don't hate Ichiya. Let's take things from there. I would then assume that you weren't entirely against the idea of marrying him. In fact, you might even be hoping he gives you a reason to fall for him. However, some critical deciding factor is still missing, preventing you from just choosing him. Well, am I close? How is any of that just a theory? He saw through me so quickly and so accurately, I couldn't stop surprise from surfacing on my face. If we hadn't seen Kazu and Ichiya in the same place at the same time multiple occasions, I would think they were the same fucking person. I'm just saying. He's like, I know, because I am Ichiya. What the hell? Kazu smiled brightly. It reminded me of the talks we'd have before I knew who he really was, when he was just Kazu to me. I'm afraid even I don't know what that critical, decisive factor is, though. But considering how new you are to relationships, wouldn't be surprised if it's something simple. Simple? Not sure. The word slipped out before I realized I was speaking out loud. I hated how transparent I could be sometimes. But I also couldn't deny that one of the things I needed most right now was someone I could rely on to give me accurate and thoughtful advice. Right now, I'd say Ichi has his hands full coming up with ways to shovel his feelings onto you. He's not in a position to try and figure out how you feel. And if he's not even thinking of your feelings, is it really a surprise that his courtship is starting to grate on you a bit? He was once again frighteningly on the mark. I sat, conflicted, unsure of what to say. Kazu waited for my answer. After a moment, I said, oh my god, he's trying his best. You could have a point. He's trying his best! I mean, you could have a point, but I feel like that's like almost siding with Kazu. Like, yeah, you have a point. He does, valid, but also I don't think we should give him that upper hand. We should be like, he is trying his best. Defend our man. Thank you. He's trying high best. The guide says. I missed the S on typo. Yes, Ichi's going in circles, I won't deny that. But he is trying his best. So please don't belittle his efforts. It's so good that I didn't think there was going to be a choice in this because I was like, oh, I normally just scroll up to the point where you could see the chapter title. So, okay, we know which one to go to, even though these ones not really a choice most of the time, right? So, like, well, in chapter. So I'm like, but I was like, oh, well, this is just one of those little diamond ones, so there's probably no choice in here. I was almost going to scroll up to the next one. God, I didn't. I would have cheated. I would have seen it by accident, and I don't like that. Sometimes I like to pretend. Well, you know what I mean. Pretend I have a choice. I don't really have a choice. I'm going to do what the guide says. But I mean, like, I like to pretend like, oh, okay, so I would choose this one. And then see how wrong I am. But I like it better. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'm like, I don't know. I got to look at the guy. You know what I mean? But anyway. Kazu said Ichi was shoveling his feelings onto me, but I wasn't so sure. The old Ichi did that, but now it felt more like his desperation was taking control. It'd be cold and cruel to turn him down simply because of his enthusiasm. Belittle? That wasn't my intention, honestly. Yeah, that's your fucking face says it was. I guess an old bad habit got the better of me there. He shook his head and grimaced again. Like I mentioned to you before, Ichi is a sensitive and sentimental person. At the same time, he's clumsy and awkward. He's particularly poor at trying to express himself in non-traditional ways. I hate to say it, but he's exactly right. I think his most recent attempts would have to be overly simplistic, right? And painfully awkward. I'd hazard a guess that he left a better impression on you when he blew up at me. I can't disagree. He's so panicky and desperate right now, it's hard to see him for himself. Yes, that was it. In other words, his courtship was so overbearing it was obscuring the one thing I needed to see the most. Who Ichiro really was as a person. No wonder I can't figure out what it is about him that feels so off to me. I mumbled to myself as an understanding dawned on me. Hard to admit, but Kanze's advice is as accurate as always. Not more so. If only he wasn't a Shinzaki, I'd love to have him as a friend and confidant that I could trust from the bottom of my heart. As I was thinking that, Kazu spoke up. So, yeah, that about covers the Ichiya conundrum, I'd say. It's your turn next, Spacey. Huh? He isn't the only one who could stand to adjust their behavior. You do realize what kind of person you are, right? Once again, he hit the bullseye with painful precision. I flinched involuntarily. From where I stand, you seem to have a very romanticized idea of relationships. No, I might even peg it as anxiety. You know Ichi is serious. You know he's trying. You even admitted you don't think he's half bad. Yet you insist something is off and obsess over it instead of dismissing it as a minor detail and getting on with what's important. Wait a minute! I simply think I owe it to Ichi to fall in love with him properly. Be disrespectful to do anything less. Well, if that's the way you think, I guess you've little choice but to call it quits. Call it quits? I stared at him in shock. Kazu sighed and took on the tone of a parent trying to enlighten a sulking child. Do you honestly think all the couples in the world are perfectly happy with every single aspect of their partners? Everyone has tons of fault that only start to make themselves apparent when they get close to someone. Every time that happens, you're going to tell Ichiya that something's off and distance yourself from him? Well, he did have a point. When you start nitpicking someone, it was hard to stop. Besides, there was no such thing as a perfect person. That's not fucking true. We have Kasuga. Jesus fucking Christ, this game is dumb. Lies, lies, that's it, we're done! Fooled me once, game! That's not even the right phrase. No, you know what, game, you're out. I'm sorry. That was just, I can't. There's no such thing as a perfect person. Fucking Kasuga exists! Hello? Jesus. But it's not like I expect Ichiya to be perfect, right? Because then he'd be Kasuga. First and foremost, have you ever thought that Ichiya might have some issues with you? Huh? Tell me, Spacey. Are you mainly with Ichiya because he's shielding you from having to go through with an arranged marriage with me? Can you confidently tell me that it's not the case? Just as Kazu had asked Ichiya if his feelings for me weren't rooted in sibling rivalry, now he was targeting me with with the same kind of question. I mean, okay, he does have a point asking these questions because you're like, a little bit. But also, I feel like his questions are not like, I'm trying to help you get to the root of your problem, like a therapist asking this question where you're like, oh, you're right, it is sibling rivalry. Are you sure it's not just sibling rivalry? To try to needle you, make you go, it really was, I don't actually love you. And like, just, you know what I mean? He's like throwing dissension in here. Choosing Ichiya was the quickest and easiest way to get out of being married off to Kazu, after all. Did I say that honestly wasn't why I was close to him? I'm not. You can't say that it isn't at least some part of it, right? If any of your other suitors had stepped up and said, your feelings might have shifted over to them. Ichiya's well aware of that, I'm sure. Yet he says that he loves you without a shadow of a doubt. I'm not falling in love with Ichiya through the process of elimination. I'm not calculating the value of our relationship like it's a bill. I felt anger well up inside me. I opened my mouth and looked Kazu in the eye, ready to refute his words. Then I noticed the challenge gleaming in them. I closed my mouth. That wasn't it. That isn't what he's getting at. There's a different point he's trying to make. Mugi told me that Ichiya and I already look like a couple to her. If I could simply resolve the something that she said, then she said I would surely realize we're a pair. That's why I wanted time and space to think about what I felt for Ichiya, to try and determine the mysterious factor that kept me from settling down. But all I'm really doing is trying to find fault in him when it's my own emotions that are a mess. If you really can't, then I guess you really can't. Personally, I don't think it's fair that you expect Ichiya to find the solution by himself. Kazu's words were harsh, but his intent was clear as day. I have to make the effort to look within myself too. Is that what you're saying? Pretty much. And if you could do me a favor and explain all this to Ichiya in a way that it'll stick for him, that'd be perfect. Kazu nodded, a satisfied smile on his face. Then... Oh, sorry, that's from work. I'll have to say goodbye for now. All right, thank you for advising me. I said that and I meant it. Though I hated to admit it, Kazu had told me exactly what I needed to hear. He gave me a slightly embarrassed smile and a shrug. It'll sound weird coming from me, but good luck. You don't have a lot of time left. What? I blinked and I looked at Kazu, but he had already turned away. He walked out of the cafe without looking back. No time left. What do you mean by that? It wouldn't be until days later, until I understood what he meant. And it's going to be days later until you understand what he meant, because we're going to end this part here because we're over time. So, anyway, and it might be days later for me. I actually might do the next part tomorrow. I can't do it today. But anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.